clarifying. I picked my nose just a minute ago. Yes, I'm pissed at myself. So I get it. It's red. Thank you. The moon's in Gemini right now. Clearly I'm having some, the twins are fighting inside my head. It being in tune with my ascendant does not help that at all. Anyway, so today is the 5th of March, 2017, and at least it's going to be for the next 4 minutes. God damn, why did I do this? Okay, so I'm going to essentially go over, maybe I should start going through Monday through Sunday, since Neptune, makes me not understand time management and everything anymore. The transiting my 6th house. Just fuck it. We're gonna do it. Alright, so I'm going to give you the transit weekly forecast for March 6th, 2017, starting Monday, so tomorrow. And I'll go through the 12th of March. And I think that's right around the time that Aries is going to, Mercury's going to go in Aries. And so, anyway, yeah, so let's go ahead. I specifically did not look at any of the transits or anything like that before this moment, and especially earlier, because clearly Mercury and Pisces and Neptune transiting over my natal Mercury and Pluto was making my concepts of discernment, or my capacity of discernment, a little foggy. Yeah. And that pun was intentional. For once. Okay. So, we're going to dissect the moment at this moment first. So I guess that'll kind of make up for me not doing it today, for today. So, at 11:57 p.m., March 5th, Sunday, so it's Sun's Day, in the Pacific Northwest, so the west coast of the United States. Today, obviously, the sun was more important, more or less, or more influential in the chart. And at this moment, the sun's in the 4th house, conjunct Mercury at 15 degrees. And it's been having some, apparently, in a T-square with Saturn and the moon. That explains why I chose to do it, but I was really good and I didn't pick my nose for while the moon was in Taurus, and then all of a sudden yeah. Okay. Anyway, so do we have anything interesting or new going on with any of the signs? I obviously forgot to mention, by the way, that Jupiter, I believe, into February, at least almost 4 weeks ago now, went retrograde. So if you weren't aware of that, you know now. And we have Venus that just went retrograde. Was it today? It might have been yesterday. So yeah, let me animate the wheel real quick here for a second. And go back a day. Yep, it went retrograde today. Okay. Alright, we're good. I'm not totally lost. Thanks. So anyway, other than that, nothing really fascinating per se with any of the directions of any of the planets or anything like that. So let's go ahead and let's cast the chart for tomorrow. Ooh, look at that. It's midnight too, so I didn't even have to change the date. Woohoo! Sweet. Perfect timing. Okay. So, let's take a look at the aspects. Aspect points. Alright. Obviously, since we're into Pisces season, Neptune's a huge thing. That's not a pun. Neptune is a focal. So Neptune characteristics are still going to be at play with this. The cloudy, disoriented from reality is still going to be a theme. The inebriated, drunken, fucked up person at the party, that's everybody on a sociological level. So there will be a continuation of DUIs, drunk driving, people being actually under the influence of something or seeming as if they were, that are going to cause destructive events. Negligence, more or less, will be more of the reasons. Some of the few special ones out there are going to be because they're suffering neurosis or having psychotic episodes. As we go into the last part of Pisces season, the deacon that is associated with Neptune and Mars, or Neptune and Pluto essentially, more or less, if you look at the modern associations, it's going to be a mixture of Pisces and Scorpio. That will be a rise of not only overdoses, per se, but destructive behavior, not just to the self, but to other people. I've already talked about this in length in other videos that you can go find on my YouTube channel. Specifically, it's something to do with the eclipses and suicides and homicides. So, everybody might have seemed a little bit emotional, and that will continue on for 4 or 5 more days. But then as we get towards when Aries is actually going to be the ruler of Mercury, that's when the full effect of the Scorpio-Pisces infusion will manifest throughout this Pisces season. So for Neptune, the aspects we have going on, because this would work to just attribute this to the whole week. We have a Mercury-Neptune conjunction. I already warned people about that on my Facebook. Obviously, that's still going to be an issue. If you are on medication, or if you don't have that great of an attention span or perception or anything like that, or if you don't feel comfortable driving or anything, operating, some sort of heavy machinery per se, don't do it unless you have to, okay? That's just my advice. Another thing I want to interject about this. So, when Mercury is in Pisces, it's debilitated. It's the fall or detriment. And Neptune is associated specifically with the 12th house that has to do with hospitals, chronic illness, terminal illness, that sorts of thing. Has to do with infectious things as well, because Neptune essentially is associated with Pisces. Pisces in ancient astrology used to be attributed to Jupiter. So Jupiter, and the common denominator between Jupiter and Neptune is they're expansive and contagious. And I use contagious specifically because of the contagious factor of illness. Mercury is associated with your illness, with your health, more or less. The vehicle in which your health then continues on throughout your life. While this Mercury is conjunct with Neptune, and then also the Sun is also has been conjunct with Neptune. There can be people who have terminal illnesses that are now going to be having complications with that. If you feel sick during this time, don't fuck around, because with this combination of aspects in particular, this is the recipe for coming down with something, just coming down with you think it's a cold, and it ends up being pneumonia or the flu, that sort of thing. So just, if it's like flu or associated, something like that, something with acute aggressive symptoms. If you twist an ankle or something like that or whatever, yeah, that's not a huge deal. Which actually, I love how I use that as an example. Twisting your ankle could happen because Pisces rules the feet. So since we're in Pisces season, it's conjunct the Sun. That's totally happen. People might actually have issues with their legs. Now that I think about it, now I'm projecting too, because I thought, I'm not going to get into that. We have Neptune semi-square Mars. So I've been feeling this. It sucks. The Aries Mars wants me to get up and get stuff done. The Pisces in me, especially since specifically right now we're going through the Cancerian Piscean fusion with the Deacon, I don't feel like it, or I'm down, or I'm too involved internally in what's going on to get my ass up and utilize that Aries Mars energy and get shit done. Yeah. Everything's a struggle, pretty much. And other than that, we're still having a continuance of the Sun being conjunct Neptune, which is a loss of sense of self, or not being able to either remove yourself from a situation and or see how you are affecting things. It also has the conjunction between Neptune and the Sun. When there's hard aspects to Neptune or the Sun, could be a predisposition signature for missing persons or people going missing. Also, again, with the Mercury-Neptune conjunction, that being said, as I was saying about the heavy operating machinery and everything, with this conjunction with the Sun as well as Mercury, if and when there is some sort of negative aspects per se with those, or we have one of the configurations, the death signatures, the final destination signatures that I've talked about, people could potentially go missing while driving. So it would be long distance, more or less, than anything, especially since Jupiter is in a T-square with Pluto and Uranus, the Uranus-Pluto square. So I'm not telling everybody to go out and be a hero. I'm just projecting, obviously, my Chiron, my first house, that wants to save people. If you happen to drive somewhere and you see something weird in like a river or a lake or something like that, I'm not telling you to go in there, but if you see something, if it were me in that situation, I would call the authorities. I would probably stop my car, double check and make sure that I didn't just see, some sort of a hallucination, because that's totally possible in this time frame too. But you could save lives. Literally, there's so many instances that have been happening, and if you want further proof or whatever, or you're a skeptic, or you're just intrigued by this as much as I am, if you add me on Facebook, I post all the events on my wall. It's pretty much all my Facebook exists for, is to correlate with aspects and astrology stuff. So, other than that, I'm not going to focus on this now. So let's go ahead and break down the calendar week. I'll just cover Sunday just to be thorough. The moon was in Gemini, and there's the desire to escape a strong, perhaps inspired by a wonderful project or person, or maybe you're tired. Don't push. Take some quiet time, have faith, and that all will be well. That's that semi-square between Mars and Neptune. So, yeah, if you're a workaholic, you're really going to be hating yourself during this time. And me just projecting like how I am myself too. Just don't beat yourself up about it. It's just Monday, guys. It's just Monday. Well, technically it was Sunday today, so you should have been resting according to the Sabbath. Anyway, discipline and endurance are required now. Resist the urge to control. Accomplish what you can. Any delays are likely to be fortuitous. So last week's aspects are still going to be a theme. So a lot of the you can't control Neptune, so don't even try thing is going on. And right now you have a strong desire for excitement. Actively find an outlet and expend the energy on a positive project. When the moon goes into Cancer, which it will, technically today, it's at actually, it's going to go into Cancer in 20 minutes. People are going to not have that active streak in them, because that was supposed to be a sextile to the moon in Gemini. This is an auspicious time for communicating and writing. Assert yourself with clarity. Okay. Then Monday, Moon Day, the 6th, March 6th. We have the ingress from the moon in Gemini going into Cancer. So this is a time for spiritual renewal. You have the ability to view your life in new light and to achieve wisdom. You have reached a significant turning point in your life journey. Cast off childish notions and proceed with honor. You are entering a new cycle in life. Notice the signs of new growth. Survival of the fittest right now, whether it's in the sports field or workday. Be productive rather than destructive. Work is frustrating right now. Persist with your responsibilities and focus on other areas of your life. So people are going to hate their job today, but isn't that every Monday? Bliss. You seem to delight with everything and everyone. Take pleasure now, while the harmony lasts. Quickly. Aries season is approaching. Effective communications, talks, calls, etc. The need to make connections via transport or communication. Good news is about to come your way. You are positive and ideas flow. Let your confidence speak for itself. Then we go into Tuesday, Mars Day. We're still going to have the moon in Cancer. And the only thing we really have going on is a sextile between Mercury and Pluto. and penetrating conversations, power in speech, persuasion, talk, of change and sexuality, psychological issues, and exposure. I've been actually, funny enough, I've talked about this. So, theoretically, I'm 2 days ahead of everyone, right? If you go look at my Facebook wall, because today's obviously, well, it would have been the 5th. I passed out last night watching a bunch of psychopathy and abnormal psychology clinical diagnosis kind of videos. And it looped all day. Well, all day meaning because I slept all day. I finally hit the ground after my manic kind of tangent I've been going on with videos and stuff, and just, yeah. I've been really obsessively, the whole plutonium thing's really been digging into the videos and stuff like that. But yeah, so what it's talking about here, penetrating conversation, power in speech, persuasion, talk of sexuality, and psychological issues and exposure. So actually, right before I did this, I did a video where I was kind of just talking about, more or less, it was just, I titled it, Why Are Astrology Charts Important? But I was talking about a bunch of other things, and I was actually talking about the rise of psychopathy in sociological trends. So that's fascinating. See, that right there, that I just proved that I do feel things 2 days in advance, because I haven't even looked at this. So on Wednesday, Mercury Day, we're going to have the moon go from Cancer to Leo. This will be at 6 o'clock in the morning-ish. So we just have two major aspects going on. An opposition between the moon and Saturn, which is never nice. And then we have a sextile between the sun and Pluto. Emotional stressors are indicators that things need change. Find the strength to adjust and reap the rewards of emotional satisfaction. So, engaging in plutonic kind of associations with that. That's actually the opposition between Saturn and the moon. Saturn and the moon, obviously, those two planets are part of your superego. So your emotional facets. So the fact that there's an opposition between that, people are going to be emotionally erratic, or their discernment with their empathy or their actions, your conscience kicking in, is going to be impacted on Wednesday. That's kind of not only been a theme, but that makes sense because it's on Mercury Day, which Mercury would be the strongest or most influential planet in a chart on that day. So, and seeing as Mercury's debilitated while it's in Pisces and then conjunct Neptune, people aren't going to be able to necessarily think through things, and then naturally their perception of what's going on too is going to usually get them emotionally flustered. Your biological urges are powerful right now. Enjoy the feeling, learn from them. Enjoy your feelings, learn from them, and trust that all is in order. Be careful, because the opposition between Saturn and the moon that day, and then it telling you to listen to your feelings, I would take that with a grain of salt. Then we look at Thursday, the 9th. The moon will still be in Leo, and we will actually be having Mars enter Taurus on this day. So strong personal desires are at the forefront. Nevertheless, you are likely to follow a reliable course of action in attaining these desires. So the fact that Mars is going into Taurus is good for everyone. And when I say everyone, if you've been dealing with any kind of confrontations, combativeness, even physical altercations, assaults, violence, and or if you've been one of the people keeping up with me and have been concerned about some of the murder, suicide, homicide, that sort of thing, the fact that Mars is still technically within orb to be conjunct with Uranus and Eris, but the fact that it's now changed to an Earth sign means that it'll be a little bit more grounded. I say that excluding Virgo, because I have a Virgo Mars and that thing does not ground itself, I'll tell you that. When they classify that as an Earth sign, I think they messed up. That's a horrible Virgo joke, isn't it? Anyway, so with it being in Taurus, like I said, Taurus will help start to ground a lot of people's erratic, psychopathic behavior. And everything is happening all at once. Let go of what you can and prioritize. That's a quincunx with Jupiter to Mercury. Your biological urges are powerful right now. Enjoy the feelings, learn from them, and trust that all is in order. It's time to make changes in your work life. If you can make concessions, then your profession will benefit. So that's quincunx with Venus and your midhaven. And everything is happening all at once. Let go of what you can and prioritize. Again, that's re-emphasized with the Jupiter aspect to Mercury. And the discernment factor is going to be really a real big challenge for people. That's all I can say. Yeah. Again, if people haven't, if you're watching this for the first time and you haven't heard my transits or anything, I am reading something that's generated on a calendar and then adding my input to it. I have to disagree with what it said on Thursday or whatever. You shouldn't be prioritizing right now because you can't. That's like setting yourself up for failure. And just as the opposition between Jupiter in Virgo and Neptune in Pisces was making it difficult for people to discern details and understand what's going on, and information was being, hardcore mistranslated or misunderstood, that same kind of theme is going to be evident right now. So, if you make any permanent drastic decisions, like life-altering decisions, while Mercury's in Pisces, you're gonna regret it. Because either A, you made poor decisions because of the debilitation, or B, there was information or part of the perception that you needed to make a logical choice missing, and you will find out the repercussions of that later when Mercury's no longer in Pisces. So then on Friday, on Venus Day, we're going to have the Moon in Leo going into Virgo, and that'll be about 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we have a Mercury conjunct Chiron. Memories and dreams are strong right now. It is time to forgive and forget. Good luck with that. You are in the fast lane and facing many choices. Steer a steady course despite irritation. Rash decisions may backfire later. That's a semi-square between the Mars now in Taurus with Mercury. Feeling the urge to take over? Make the most of your leadership urges, but avoid conflict with compromise. Venus will be retrograde now, so ideally, I'm hoping that the whole thinking things over and avoiding the conflict thing with other people will be a little bit more of a priority for people. Who knows? I don't know. The Moon ending in Leo right there and then going into Virgo, I'm not entirely sure. So, actually no, because the Moon going into Virgo means that we're gonna probably end up at some point throughout the day on Friday and into Saturday. There will be a grand cross alignment again with the mutables, which just confuses everybody. That's like if you made everybody, if you took everyone, you spin them all around all at once and then let them go and told them to run straight. And it's not even that analogy that is the point I'm getting at, but letting a cluster of people all do that and then expecting them not to run into each other, that's what's gonna go. Can you imagine? That's exactly what it's like when we have a grand cross in mutable. You just shook everybody up and poured them out, and you expect them to get up and not hurt each other or hurt themselves and actually do something. Yeah. Let's see. Then the Mercury conjunct Chiron is overemphasized again, and then expressing ideas, communication, calls, talking with others, conversation, mental meetings, or social adaptability. That's a good thing to have on Friday. So then on Saturday we still have the Moon in Virgo, and we have a couple sextiles with the Moon and Mars, as well as quincunx with the Sun and Jupiter, and then a trine with Chiron and the Ascendant. So right now you have the courage to face challenges that have previously seemed too tough. This can apply to your career, moves, relationships, or any dream that you may have been avoiding through lack of courage or for lack of courage. If you have been in a rut, then the time is ripe for to overcome your fears and achieve your ambitions. You may take on a leadership role, run your own business, or make moves that work more independently. You have plenty of energy and benefit from sports and activities. My boyfriend's going to be happy about that. Okay. You're confident and optimistic. Make the most of the sunny period to expand your horizons, but do not go over the top. Again, while we're in Pisces season, don't hold your breath. That's what it's all about. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just telling you the reality of it. So this time, this is the time when you come to a greater understanding of yourself and your purpose of the world, which is a healing experience. So again, as I've said, not just the 2-day, ahead of time thing, but I've sped up a little bit into the future, more or less, at least in my thought processes. So a lot of the themes that have been happening to me for the last week or so are going to now be happening to all of you. You're confident and optimistic. Make the most of the sunny period and expand your horizons, but don't go over the top. That's re-emphasized, meaning that you're going to have a problem going over the top. And then when we go for Sunday, so the moon itself will be going in from Virgo to Libra on this day. And the only thing we really have going on are actually some squares. So we have squares to Mercury and Saturn, and then squares to Mercury, Saturn, and the moon. Narrow focused thinking, exclusion, limitations, transport, or communications, overly exacting judgments and delays. People are going to be argumentative on Sunday. And when it's going to be with Virgo, that's horrible. A Virgo moon person is really, not only are they very hypervigilant and critical of other people, but even themselves. And yeah, with a square to Mercury, that means that you're narrow-minded. You can't be objective. So, and then when the moon is actually going into Libra, it's going to hate the fact that you can't be objective, which is actually, you'd think that would help, but it's actually just going to make things worse. So when Libras don't have their balance, they feel the fire, and that's exactly what will happen. Then we have feeling nervous or anxious. Apply positive thinking techniques, and things will seem brighter. That's the square for the moon to Saturn. So exactly what I was just kind of saying. All right, so that's the gist of that for this week. Let me see. Hold on. I mean, I might as well just go over the top while I'm at it, right? Exactly. What day did I say that Mars went? Aha, I got it. Okay, the 10th. Friday. So that's it for the weekly forecast. I'll go, since, Mars has will be going into Taurus this week, I'll do an overview of all the solar signs with Taurus and what house it's going to be in. So obviously, as Mars continues to progress throughout the houses or whatever, it'll obviously, change, but it's important to look at the moment when a sign goes into, or when a planet goes into a new sign, specifically because that residual energy does impact the overall efficiency and exchange of energy that then translate to aspects that then translate to events in your life. So yeah, that being said, alright, thanks guys, that's it. And if you have any further questions, feel free to comment, whatever, share this. You can contact me on however you need to contact me. I make it known. Go for it.
Is there someone there who cares for God-forsaken souls and God-forsaken man? Is there someone there?